Well, it was so short, I just didn't think. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Hi, everybody. Is everyone feeling sexy? Yay! Oh, you're the mom. You're not supposed to do that. You're busted. Will you do your Marilyn Monroe impression for me? No, not right now. In my room. Haha. Okay. I went and got olives today, and I made them put a fridge in my room. I was very excited. Okay, it's the small things. It's the small things. So I'm going to read a few poems. I feel a bit weird because I have been working on a book about the Titanic, and it did not seem appropriate to read those for the Evening of Fools. I guess I could have talked about some of the designers and stuff, but I made an executive decision, and I will not be reading poems about that. This first one is a poem that was in CV2, which is a magazine from Winnipeg. It's called The Party, circa 1985, and it's dedicated to Lorna Crozier, who's a wonderful Canadian poet. Suppose coworkers throw you a going-away party, and when you arrive, you are drawn to one coworker in particular. Let's call her Jean. And unlike most days when she shows up in a conservative blouse and medium-length skirt, her hair brushed but nothing fancy, her face makeup free, suppose when you see Jean at your going-away party, you're taken by her red jumpsuit with big shoulder pads, and how she's curled her hair into ringlets that frame her large eyeglasses and big dangly earrings. Suppose when you see Jean, you scream how amazing she looks, how much you love her new hairdo, and how you're so happy she's found this part of herself you knew existed, but never thought you'd see. Suppose you greet another coworker, and another, and when you look around the room, it's filled with clunky earrings and jumpsuits and big hair. And suppose you begin to realize the party's theme is to dress like you. But instead of getting the joke right away, you spend the first 5 minutes complimenting everyone on how good they look. How marvelous, and never better. Suppose you tell this story to a friend who loves you dearly, and when he decides to write something in your honor, he can't stop thinking about the party, where even in going away, you help your coworkers find poetry in the least expected places, just as you always have, and how he felt compelled to share this in a few plain-spoken words as part of your legacy. Thank you, and as you've noticed, to date, Lorna has not killed me yet. I got a phone call the other day, and someone said, Billeh, Billeh, and I was like, what? What's going on? What's going on? They're like, have you ever noticed when they say Jack Layton, and they say it quite often and quickly, it sounds like ejaculating. And then the friend said, Jack Layton, 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 Jack Layton. And I'm like, I get it. So I thought that would be appropriate just to share with you because of the election. Maybe it will bring some excitement into your world. Okay, so I'm going to read a few poems from Mick Poems. This first one's, and the only thing you need to know is all the poems, they're written from a second-person point of view, so when you hear the you are being situated behind the counter of a fast food restaurant. Maybe you can guess what kind of restaurant it is. This is called The Unicorn. Infamous for many things, but named after only one, the unicorn orders a soft-serve cone, then sticks it to the top of his forehead and walks around the restaurant until it melts and slides away. Sometimes the melting takes a few seconds, but other times you'll see him sitting with rivulets of cream trickling down his face, his proud cone still intact. How can you not watch a man with an ice cream cone on his head? It's true, with him they broke the mold. He's one of a kind. Pickle Sundae. How can you refuse to make a sundae topped off with pickles when a customer explains this is how she'll tell her husband about her pregnancy? When she walks back to the table with a hot fudge sundae for him and a pickle sundae for her, he doesn't even notice at first. Just stuffs his face with spoonful after spoonful until he sees the pickles in her ice cream, then hugs her so tightly you worry about the baby. Things people have asked you to search for in garbage cans. Wallets, leather gloves, wedding rings, keys, paychecks, report cards, a cherished photo of a dead grandson, x-rays, divorce papers, a pregnancy test, a teddy bear, their neighbor's dentures. Madonna. The only thing harder than being named Madonna is being named Madonna and having to wear a name tag. And little white spoons. Rumor had it too many customers use the little white spoons to snort cocaine, so head office discontinued them in favor of wooden stir sticks. Nobody could confirm this for sure, but on the day the ever-smiling mayor visits the drive-thru asking, "Whatever happened to those little white spoons?" You realize the rumors are true. Okay, and I wanted to dedicate something to Stephen Harper. And I've been thinking about Stephen a lot. Usually I'm lying down and not wearing a lot, but... anyways, well, because I think of him in the morning. I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, he's our prime minister. And I think that he's not really scared of the coalitions. He doesn't understand because he thinks that a coalition is actually an orgy. It's like a come together thing, and he's jealous. So if anybody sees him, tell him, Stephen, it's an orgy. It's a good thing. So like I said, I want to read this for our Prime Minister. It's called The Classic Dong. My dildo adventure started when a friend who I never would have guessed would purchase a dildo, or at least purchase a dildo, then tell me about it, spoke of its many virtues. I think his exact words were, "It makes me come like the Dickens." I didn't know exactly what the Dickens means or where the expression came from. It makes me think of Charles Dickens and Oliver Twist and Ebenezer Scrooge. All decidedly unsexy things. But I could tell by my friend's face that the Dickens was a good thing, that I too needed to explore. While touring the sex shops on Vancouver's Granville Street, because it's important to comparison shop even for sex toys, I learned many things about myself. For instance, I found out that the word jelly does not excite me the slightest. I also learned that I'm not the kind of person who is turned on by dildos shaped like the signs of the zodiac. I did, however, wonder briefly whether it is more exciting to use a dildo in the shape of one's own sign or of a compatible sign. It would add a whole new dimension to the age-old pickup line, "What's your sign?" I silently thank my parents for giving birth to an Aquarius, the water bearer, and not a Gemini, the twins. After many trips to many stores, I decided upon a basic model. The package called it the classic dong. The sales clerk exclaimed that I had picked a good product and gave me washing instructions in the same way people in clothing stores give helpful hints about caring for the jeans you just bought. Apparently, dishwashing detergents with an antibacterial agent are just as effective as expensive cleaners. I thanked the clerk and wondered whether I had just learned the real reason why that manicurist on the dishwashing detergent commercials thinks so highly of the product. I'm sure she soaks in it all the time. Back at home, I noticed a sticker that read, "Over 1 million sold." Had I become the kind of person who purchases something based on its popularity? Had I just bought the dildo equivalent of a Shania Twain CD? But I didn't want to make hasty judgments before I tried it out. The proof would be in the pudding, so to speak. Later that... Sorry. Yeah. It's just, I just realized everyone's visualizing. Okay. Later that night, before I tried it out, I found myself thinking about those million dildos. That's a lot of dildos. I wondered how far they would stretch if laid end to end. And I started converting inches to feet to miles and so on. It worked out the 1 million versions of my dildo would stretch out 203 kilometers. Enough to get from New York to Atlantic City with dildos to spare. The next day, my friend asked me how it had gone and whether I thought my dildo smelled like Barbie. I told him it may have smelled like Barbie, but it sure felt like Ken. Thank you, Calgary.